Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me just move this camera down a bit. Welcome to this week's Monday Motivation. And I hope you are already starting to feel a nice vibe for your Monday morning. So just in case this is the first time you've ever watched this, maybe you've stumbled across this by accident, my name's Jenny Kovacs and I am lovingly known as the Queen of Being Seen. But I am also really great at helping you to activate your ability to be brilliant. So these Monday Motivations started quite some years ago, back in 2008, I believe, when Mondays used to get a bit of a bad rap. What used to happen, and at that time I was an employee, I worked within a business, normal corporate business, financial services to be exact, and everyone used to have this dread of Monday morning, not a fear, but like a dread of Monday morning. So I used to send around just a little motivational quote or something like that, just to boost that part of the morning that seemed for some people to be a bit slow. And as my business evolved and started in 2010, I did the same thing until about this time last year, I decided to bring them to life, where rather than me just sending a quote or a post or something that I'm sure we're all used to seeing more of now, I wanted to bring it to life. So if you're watching, a couple of things that I just want to test out and make sure. First of all, thank you for joining me. And if you know of somebody else that needs a bit of Monday motivation, maybe motivation for their morning, their Monday, their week, even the rest of their month, then do remember to share this with them. Every share helps, and it always actually surprises and amazes me at how many messages I get from people that I don't even know who say, thank you so much for what you said, I needed to hear it. So thank you for sharing those, for those of you that already do and will continue to. Now I just need to test something, because I can see there are a few of you watching, but I cannot see anything else. So could you just type in a hi in the box, just say a quick hello in the box, give me a thumbs up, love heart, angry face or anything else like that, so I can just make sure my controls are working, because if not, down here I have my computer to the ready. So I'm just going to open up a page, because as I say, I can see that there are lots of you watching, but I can't see much else. What that likely means for those of you who do Facebook Lives, want to do more Facebook Lives, sometimes, and I'm not sure why, sometimes you won't see any comments. There are a couple of places that you can swipe. A couple of places you can swipe, and I've just made sure that I'm not on a video only mode page. But on these places you can swipe, it then lets you see the comments. So, at the risk of ignoring you, I am now looking down here, which is where my computer is. So thank you for those of you who have been sharing this video already. I'm truly, truly grateful to you. So what I would like to talk about today is something that happens in a lot of our lives. And people always say, if you're aspiring to bigger, great things, maybe you're looking for a career promotion, maybe you've got your own business and you want more people to enjoy the stuff that you put out there in the world, maybe you're looking for love, maybe you are looking to sort your finances out. Whatever that thing is, quite often there's a step in which we decide to do something, and then it's almost like the way we approach it, our behaviours, our mindset, need to be slightly different. Now, I want to make a distinction here, not that you need to be somebody or not. So quite often people say, oh, I need to be a completely different person, I need to change, and that's not necessarily true. What I'd love to encourage you to do is bring yourself and who you really are along in the journey, and that's what this week's Monday Motivation is all about. So, as I suspected, I have got Alan Roberts on. He says, good morning, Jenny. I'm saying good morning back to you, Alan. We've got Ian, who's saying, hey up, Jenny. Good morning. Hey up, Ian. We've got Moira on, who says, good morning, Jenny. Oh, thank you for saying good morning. And sorry that I seem to ignore your comments because they are not coming up on the screen here. That's so bizarre. I'm just going to play with my screen again. Okay. So thank you for joining me, and thank you for those of you that are hopping on or even watching this on the replay. It's just as effective, and I would get you to answer the questions just as if you and I are sat here over a cup of coffee live. So This morning, what follows once you've decided to go for it? Now, going for it gets a bit of a pressure attached to it, because somehow in this day and age where things are happening faster, quicker, technology helps us to move quickly, it's almost as if we want something to happen and it has to happen now. You know, that kind of thing. That'll make a very good screenshot. You wait, the thumbnail will pick up my face going like this or something. Always does. So once we've decided to go for something in our life, I wanted to share, and I've written down a couple of questions, really, really useful questions. And I have to say, even though I'm a coach, even though I help clients to do this sort of thing, I still ask myself these questions on a regular basis. The hardest things about these questions to ask is just to remember. Okay, so I want you to know that. So we've decided to go for it, and then we feel like, not quite that we've hit a block, but a bit like, what do I do next? Some of you might say it's overwhelm. Some of you might even say it's procrastination. Now, let me just talk to those two things. The overwhelming feeling, so don't believe it is necessarily overwhelm, is you've made a decision. Somewhere in your psyche, you've made a decision that you're going for it. And it's like everything clicks into place. But often what happens, it's almost as if we're the last person to know. We're the last person to catch up. And we just don't realise that we have made the decision in our head. It's almost like our head, our heart, and our soul. And all we have to do is just put one foot in front of the other. So that's what these questions, I hope, are there to do. Now, the procrastination piece. People often talk about procrastination, and procrastination has also, I think, in my own humble and personal opinion, been distorted over the years, in that anything that we want to do but don't do is now labelled procrastination. You know, we're putting it off till later. But actually, not all of it is putting it off till later. Some of it is this stuff that goes on in our subconscious where we haven't quite figured it out. So because we don't necessarily know the how, it's almost like we sit on the sidelines and wait. So I'm hoping that these questions are going to be really, really useful for that too. So just having a look. Okay. My computer is going slow, Mrs. Mac. Poor Mrs. Mac. Shall I tell you what I did to Mrs. Mac by accident before I get into these questions on Saturday night? She was on the table. I went to get up and go and get a glass of water, and I had a mouse plugged in, and I caught the lead of the mouse, and Mrs. Mac fell. You know, like a laptop's open like that. Mrs. Mac fell like this on the floor on each edge. Boy, did I breathe a sigh of relief. And when I breathed that sigh of relief, because my computer was still on, still working, not cracked or anything else, I noticed that she got a bit squashed on the side and a bit grazed around the bottom, but she's still going strong. So, word to the wise, here's some motivation for your Monday. Do not drop your Mac, especially not on a tiled floor. It dents and it squashes the corners. Not a very good maintenance piece. Okay, so just checking that there's no, see if there's any more comments. There's no more comments on there. Great. So what I would invite you to do is to think about an area of your life, a decision that where you have let me say that again. Think of an area of your life and think of maybe a project that you want to do, an area of your life, a concern that you've had. I would love you to think about something that you want to change, something that you want to be different, something that you want to grow, something where in your head you've just said, you know what, I'm going for it. I'm going to do this thing. And notice the moment of time, and it's worth journaling this down or making a note if you do. Ian said, ouch to me dropping Mrs. Mac, and you'll have to get a wireless mouse. I've actually got a wireless mouse made by Apple, and I stopped using it, Ian, because there's a thing that happens where, and I know I can change the settings on this, every now and then I'd go to pick up the mouse, which meant that I accidentally swiped to the right. When that happens, it gets rid of the page for you. Not so great when you're writing copy for a sales page or you've written a blog and it hasn't been saved anywhere. So that's why I started using an old-fashioned mouse. So I need to think about what I can do. But I do have a wireless mouse. I just don't use it. And if it was down by here, I would show you it, because it's quite a cool looking piece of equipment. So, okay. Whoops, someone's just sent me a private message on Facebook. So what I would love you to think about is think about the thing that you would like to do. The thing that maybe you've already started to do would probably be a better one to use for this exercise. Maybe you've decided, as many of my tribe do, that you want to be more visible in the world. Maybe you've decided that you want to get your business idea or book or products or services in front of more people. You've already made that decision, but you're thinking, what's next? So the first thing, or the first question to ask yourself is this, and feel free to pause this video, write it down. How did I get here? Very simple question. How did I get here? Now, this works in two really great ways. If you feel that you've had a hard time of getting to where you've got to now, maybe you felt it was a struggle, you were pushing water uphill, this is a really, really useful question to ask, because what it starts to do is it starts to sort of disseminate what the building blocks that got you to do something. Now, let me give you an example. Within my own business, I made a huge cock up, okay? I had decided that I was going to do some work with a client. It was a really big client. It would have put me to absolute capacity. This was a couple of years back. And by doing this work to absolute capacity, it meant that I needed to block off a certain amount of time. Now, that seems like a normal everyday occurrence, of which it possibly is. However, I did one thing that I didn't do with other clients. So when somebody decides that they want to work with me, or I decide that I would really love them to be a client, because I think it's a two-way piece, when that happens, I normally go through a process of a conversation to make sure it's completely right for them and it's right for me. In fact, that it's right for us. And then we decide on how much it's going to be, when we're going to get started. And usually at this point, especially with quite a big project, a big contract, I will take some form of deposit. And on this occasion, I didn't. It was somebody that was known to me, albeit from a different company. So I decided, no, that's fine. We'll just go ahead with that. Block the time out of my calendar. And I think you can guess what's coming up next. They then came back and said, we need to postpone this. I think it was for like 4 weeks. So we postponed it for 4 weeks, no problem. And then came back and said, I need a couple more weeks. Postponed it again. And then, hey, presto, came back and said, sorry, we can't go ahead. Brexit happened, I think. So yeah, it would have been last year. Brexit happened. Their investors got spooked. Everything was on hold and they stopped. Now, I hadn't taken any form of deposit and I had already blocked the time off in my calendar. Now, you've got to remember they postponed back a couple of times. Now, the reason I share this is so that you can start to get your head around what it might be for you. Now, I licked my wounds for a long time because it meant that I had like this great big crater of time, spare time in my calendar that I had no clients in, no plans in, and I just left this great big hole. And the truth of the matter is, I started off reviewing this problem by telling myself that I was an idiot. Oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, which actually I don't recommend as a strategy at all. It's really, really unhelpful. That keeps you in a stuck place where you almost disempower yourself not to do anything more. So I don't recommend that. But what I did do was ask myself this question: how did I get here? So once I took my pity party off my shoulders, how did I get here? I started to really look at what got me to that point where I had the perceived no customers or nothing to work on for the next couple of months. And when I looked back, it really brought to light my discernment to continue to use my own discernment, to be discerning. So what got me here, I was then able to identify, I didn't take a deposit. I didn't say to the client, you know what, I've put this in pencil in my diary, and once, you know, the deposit's paid or, you know, the first payment's made, then this time, this space is yours. Something that I would normally do. So because I didn't do that, and I asked myself this question, and the question again is, how did I get here? So I can see there's more of you jumping on. If you've got any questions that you want to ask me while we're live and while we're still going, please do type them in the box. Do remember that this is a public page, so anything you type people can see, which is fine. But if you want to continue the conversation in a slightly more personal space, then do go over into the Visibility Vibes Tribe. And if you're not yet a member, if you search the Visibility Vibes Tribe and ask to join, I personally will let you in. Okay, so I had to ask myself that question, and the question was, how did I get here? Now, in that particular example, it was something that I deemed as slightly negative. You know, it didn't go my way. I wasn't happy dancing around the room, but it's still an important question to ask. Another important question to ask is when you do something, it goes really well, it goes better, you know, beyond your wildest dreams. Again, ask yourself the same question, how did I get here? Because there'll be things that you've noticed that you would have done. It could be in your mindset, it could be in your behaviours, it could be in your skills or knowledge that you did to get you to that point. So equally an important question. Don't worry about whether it's a negative or positive thing. Just ask the question, how did I get here? Jackie says, morning. She's watching. A friend has called, so trying to lip read. Oh my gosh. And I keep turning away from the screen, Jackie. Jackie, there's always a replay. And thank you for joining me all the way from sunny Spain. It's so grey here in London, unfortunately, this morning, that I've actually got the light on in this room just to throw a bit more light so you can actually all see me. So thank you for joining, and I know that Jackie is in Spain. Okay, so I love that you're trying to lip read me as well, and I keep looking down and looking across. Not the best of presenter skills, but you know what? I honour you all for being here. So the second question, and this is a rhetorical question to ask for yourself. I think it's actually more like a statement, so forgive me. I would say it's more of a statement than a question. And this is an acknowledgement, a self-acknowledgement. And this acknowledgement is this. What got me here won't get me there. So here's what I mean by this. You have already made the decision. You're not even in decision mode. Should I do this? Should I not? Maybe you've started something, a new project. Maybe you've started dating. Maybe you've started looking at your money management. And for those of you that are looking at your money management, especially if you are a business owner, there's sometimes a fine line between getting what we want, getting what we need, and maybe putting ourselves in the red more often than we need to. So if this is you, the lovely Alan, who is on this actual live now and watching, has created a course which is coming out very soon. He's actually created 2 courses, and one of them helps you to steer your way out of debt, in the same way that Alan is the rough seas coach that takes you out of rough seas and guides you into calm waters. No coincidence that in his deep and distant past that he would have been in the Navy. But he's a particularly adept coach at taking you through life's nasties and steering you into calm waters. And one of the things that often gets overlooked, especially for people who are self-employed, regardless of whether you're a startup or whether you're way into the journey, is what we do with our income, with our money. Okay, so that's something that's coming up soon. And I know that I said this last week, and thank you for those of you that actually responded to this. If you're interested in what Alan's doing, you want a little sneaky peek and a nose into what he's doing, then do type Alan, A-L-L-A-N, into the box below, and I will make sure to get that information to Alan. Hey, I can see Julie's on the line. We'll get that information over to Alan so that you can be some of the first to have a sneak peek of these courses, because they are phenomenal. So Julie says, hi, joining you. Hi, and happy Monday, Jenny. Happy Monday to you, Julie. I saw Julie on Friday in London. So second statement, if you like, less question, more statement, is to acknowledge what got you here to this point won't get you further on. There'll be things that you'll need to do differently. You will have to do something different, not necessarily better, just differently. It could be that you change the environment of people that you hang around with. It could be that you give more time to your project and less time to just kind of slurping coffee with friends. It could be that you work in a smarter way. You know, it could be something as silly sounding as like when you're working on this particular project or you're doing this particular thing, not to have any distractions. So let's say, for example, you've started to date, you're looking to date and you've actually started, you've made the decision to do it, you've started looking, and you've asked yourself, how did I get here? And maybe how you got to that point was that you were sick and tired of sitting in on a Saturday night. And maybe before that, when you look at how you got here, you realise that because you hadn't been in a relationship for a while, that you were perhaps a little bit worried about what, you were a bit worried about what could happen, what if I meet somebody who was like my ex? Okay, so now you've done the how did I get here, and you've looked at all the nasties and the nices. Now you're maybe looking at what got you here won't get you there. So worrying about the other person, things you don't know about them, almost like making up stories about how they could be behind your back and how horrible they could be or how much like your ex they could be, is not going to help you. So recognising that there's a probable different change in mindset, a different viewpoint, a different way to look at things, and then different things to say to yourselves. Maybe you need an affirmation or a mantra just to get you past the initial fears. So recognising what got you like to hear won't get you to further down the line is again another piece for discernment. You're being astute. You're recognising that things could be different. So this is another great thing to ask yourself. So Alan says, thank you, Jenny. You are welcome, Alan. Alan is so phenomenal. Alan has got the most amazing story. Hey, it's Emma Hands. Hello, Emma Hands. Emma and I first met. Oops. I got so excited there. I nearly dropped my camera. Did you see? Emma and I first met many years ago when we went camping. Woohoo! So I always remember that time with very fond memories, Emma. So, and Emma says, Alan, info would be great. Good morning, Jenny. She actually said, morning, Jenny. Morning, Emma. So something else that I want to say before I go on to the third question to ask yourself. So for those of you that are in the Visibility Vibes Tribe group, now why is the Visibility Vibes Tribe group a group and not just a page? Let me explain something here. I think it's important. Many of you are at different levels in your business, in your life, where you want to put your work out there, your products, your services out there, and for some of you, even yourself out there. And sometimes it feels a little bit uncomfortable. Now, the reason why I created this group was because you've all got the same and common purpose, all at different stages and different levels, which actually complements each other. What I didn't expect was that you, Visibility Vibers, are some of the juiciest people I've ever met. Somebody comes in and says, you know what, I'm not having such a great day today, and I don't even get the chance to go in and answer or respond before there's a whole heap of you that have gone in and said, don't worry, this is what I've done. If you need a chat, I'm here. You guys, and I have to say, I still pinch myself every moment of every day at how gorgeous you are to each other. So the reason that I created that group is because I recognise that you wanted to say those sorts of things and celebrate your wins too, without the prying eyes of friends and family who are not part of the same mission. I know that it can be tough, but also exhilarating. You know, I had a friend that very recently sent me a message to say they'd made a significant amount of money. If you post that on your Facebook timeline, you're likely to get some kickback from people who don't understand. So the Visibility Vibe Tribe was created just for somebody like you who wants to not only share your great stuff and your wins, but you also want to contribute, you want to ask for help, and you also want to give answers when people ask for help. Now, the reason that I highlight the Visibility Vibes Tribe in this way at this juncture is because I thought to myself over the last few weeks, wouldn't it be a good idea after we've all been pumped up and motivated? Because trust me, these Monday motivations, I think I actually do them for myself. I feel really pumped and really ready to go, not only for my morning and my Monday, but a lot of my week. I get into action, and I hope it has a similar effect for you guys too. But one thing that I thought would be pretty cool to do is to have some sort of after party over in the Visibility Vibes Tribe. This way, you guys get to go over, maybe you get to share your motivations. Maybe there are things that you do to motivate yourself, so you get to share it in that platform. Kind of like flex your muscles and show off your skills too, because I know you've all got them. Maybe you need some motivation for your Monday. Maybe you've got something tough this week that you want some help with. And I know that being a business owner, or even thinking about being a business owner, can be a pretty lonely existence. Well, no more, because you've got this tribe of people around you. So I thought it'd be a really great idea to have the Monday Motivation After Party that goes on all day on Monday, which means that not only the Brits can get involved, but also our lovely American friends in the group can get involved. And we've got people all over Europe. We've got Spain, we've got Italy, I know that we've got Austria, we've got Germany, I think we've got France in there as well. I'm not sure where else and who else we've got in there. We've got Asia, we've got people from Asia that are in the group as well. So why not have something where on a Monday, if we're feeling motivated, we can pass on the love. Maybe it's a saying or something that we really love. And if we feel in need of motivation, we can extend a hand out where you'll get lots of lovely people to help. Who thinks that sounds like a good idea? Does that sound like a good idea? Or is this one of Jenny's crazy moments? So, if you think it's a good idea, just put great idea, type it in the box, humour me a little, it's early. So Julie Stevens said, self-discernment and awareness essential to moving on in life. Absolutely, absolutely bang on, Julie. I couldn't have said that any differently myself. So, 3 questions. First one is, how did I get here? Explore what you might deem could be positive or negative. Neither is right or wrong, just different. Please bear that in mind. Second one, which is kind of like a self-statement more than a question, but still acknowledging what got me here won't get me there. This allows you to almost course correct like a satellite navigation system, sat-nav to you and I, which helps you to course correct. So if you realise that, well, this got me here and this was really great and I actually need to do more of that because it worked better last time, then that's a really great self-reflection piece. It also helps you to recognise if you did something that didn't quite serve you, how to do something different. And then the third question and the final question is, what can I do about this? Oh, a couple of you think it's a great idea, so that's not bad going. And the great idea was, type into the box, great idea, if you think that we should definitely have some sort of Monday motivational fest in the Visibility Vibes Tribe group, like an after party. And that's fine if you don't want it to. I do believe in freedom of speech, even though I'm flapping my gums at you at 7 AM. So finally, wherever you are, you've now looked at how you got there. You've now looked at what's got you here, won't get you necessarily further forward, or some of the traits might do. So next is, so what can I do about this? Now, the reason why this is such a simple but powerful question is this allows you to take responsibility, to take onus for your part in it. So, for example, I remember once having a client back in my early days, and I asked them to write a goal, and their goal was to win the lottery. So there's a series of questions that I took them through, and it's like five questions that you ask. Now, the reason why that wasn't such a great goal for them is because one of the questions, which is very similar to this, but not quite, what can I do about this? The only part that you can play in winning the lottery as a goal is to buy the ticket. That is it. But you don't have much steer on actually doing anything about winning the lottery. So the part that you play in it, what you can actually do about this is actually quite limited. Whereas when we've made the decision we're going to go for it, be it create an online course, be it go for career development or progression, be it change completely what we want to do in our business, be it start another business, be it find a new relationship, be it sort our finances out, be it knowing that we're going to be earning more money, so we want to learn how to sort the finances out before we slide down some slippery path. Whatever the thing for you is, ask yourself this question: what can I do about this? And what am I going to do about this? Now, the reason the first question is what can I do about this is because there was a brilliant saying that I heard from a recording of Wayne Dyer, and he, and I can't even remember the saying now, but it was something like, so many people ask themselves, why should I do this, instead of why not? Now, this isn't a Wayne Dyer quote, he was quoting somebody else, but it's so true in life. There's things that we want to do and we'll ask ourselves, well, why can I do this? And really the best question to ask ourselves is, why not? Now, this propels and spurs us on, but only when we've asked ourselves, What can I do about this? We are so used to, in our society, in our environment, dust truck outside, in our society, in an environment, to asking ourselves the opposite. And it kind of goes unspoken. But you know those elements or moments of doubt that we have in ourselves, we're actually playing an internal script inside. And the words are normally like, I can't do this. Nobody in my family has done this before. I can't go out on a date. I haven't been on a date for 3 years or more. You know, I can't do such and such and such and such. Well, instead of asking yourself the can't, ask yourself what you can do instead. Get a piece of paper down, get it out of your head, write down, not War and Peace. If you like to journal, then go for it. But just like some bullet points, what can I do about this? If you want to create something, a new product or service that you want to sell, or you want more people to have their eyes on what you put out there in the world, then what can you do about it? You can tell more people. And in fact, on tomorrow over on the Queen of Being Seen page, so do give the page a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. I'm actually going to be doing a Tuesday talking tip, which is going to speak to how you can let more people know about the stuff that you want to create. And this actually would apply if you are looking to date. How could you let more people know about your intention? So, you know, go over and have a look. That should be out there around 1:30 in the afternoon, UK time. So it means that our American friends can see some of that too. So, 3 questions to ask yourself. First question, how did I get here? Whether it's something that you deem as a positive or negative experience, an important question to ask. Write down the answer if you can. It's great to get it out of your head and either put it onto a video, an audio, or write it down. Second question is more of an acknowledgement to yourself. Acknowledge that what got you here won't necessarily get you there. Ask yourself, like, who's the person that you have to be? What do you have to do differently to be able to make leaps, bounds and strides? One of mine was really simple. When I've asked this question of myself, I needed to plan more in this area. I needed to get the figures and numbers down so I knew what I was shooting for, and I knew when I had accomplished it and how much I'd accomplished too. So that was one of the things that was really, really handy for me. And then the third question is, what can I do about this? So I'm going to emphasize that sentence with 2 important words. What can I do about this? So what can you do about something? This is where you take 100% responsibility. Don't worry about anyone else. And this is going to sound strange, especially for those of you that have got people to look after, maybe kids or you know, somebody else. What can you do about this? If you are constantly saying, oh, I can't do it because of the kids, it's almost like you're apportioning blame to your kids, and your kids aren't stopping you. Your kids want you to do the best thing for them in the world. You know, your cats and dogs want you to do the best thing, because when you're happy, they're happy. When they're happy, you're happy. So what can I do about this? This is you taking responsibility for the part that you play in this. I hope that's been helpful to you. Looking forward to seeing what you share, how you motivate each other over in the Visibility Vibe Tribe group. Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry it's been a little bit longer than it should be, but I really wanted to go through those 3 points. And for those of you that want, you know, first dibs at Alan's course, Alan is A-double-L-A-N. Can't spell your name today, Alan. A-double-L-A-N. Just type Alan in the box and I will make sure that he knows that you would like to either know how to navigate yourself out of rough seas into calm waters, or how to manage money so that when you're making more of it, you can handle it, and also to stop you from going down the slippery slope that I see so many entrepreneurial types go into, where you start to have not enough money, not enough cash flow. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you over in the Visibility Vibes Tribe group, sharing all of your juices, sharing all of your motivations. Lots of love to you. Thank you for joining, and bye for now. Thank you again, Alan. I just caught that dropped up there. Thank you. Bye.